You used to have boobs.
Yes.
Now you don't.
Yep.
What was that like?
Awesome. Hi, I'm Ash, and I'm a trans guy.
And I'm Keith, and I'm not a trans guy, but I do have questions. And I think a lot of people have questions, so I'm gonna ask you questions that I think a lot of people have.
Let's do it.
All right. Specifically for you, is it weird watching your old BuzzFeed videos?
Yes and no. I mean, it's weird in the same way that I think for everyone, it's weird to look back at ourselves being young. I was a different gender, so that is weird. But the weirder thing is that I can see now how uncomfortable I was. And it was discomfort that I thought that I would grow out of, that I thought was just growing pains of youth. I just can see now that the awkwardness was like, oh, I'm just not comfortable in my body.
Don't be afraid to touch yourself, it's your body.
I don't like my body, okay.
Yeah, every video you made was like, awkward things that I am.
Awkward, literally.
As a trans person, how do you know that?
How do I know I'm trans? It took a while. I came out as bisexual first at 23, and I didn't come out as trans until like 31. And yet looking back, I used to have dreams all the time about being a little boy. Trans was honestly so far out of what my vocabulary even was that I just thought those dreams were about being gay. And that's also, I think, what's so confusing is that gender and sexuality are different, but we're kind of taught that they're conflated. I wouldn't say I knew how to put into words that I was trans until I decided to transition, which was when I was 31. Gender dysphoria is feeling different than how you feel on the inside, so your body feels wrong. And it was actually harder for me to understand until I understood gender euphoria, because I had felt so awkward in my body for so long, I just thought that's how people felt. Then, once I started transitioning and I started to feel like myself and feel the euphoria of not having breasts, of feeling like a man, I can now recognize, oh my God, the rest of what I was feeling was gender dysphoria.
Are you gonna get bottom surgery?
This is, I think, the number one thing everyone is curious about, of course, is genitals. But I will say, unless you're friends with someone, we are friends, we've known each other for a long time, don't ask someone about their genitals. It's a weird thing to go straight into a conversation to someone, even if it was a cis man or cis woman, and be like, are you gonna get bigger breasts? You know, but part of the reason we're doing this video, and I want you guys to know before you crucify Keith.
It's on the paper!
Yeah,
I was handed the paper!
This was a video that we came up with because there are so many questions that people ask, and me particularly as a trans guy in the media wants to offer this stuff, partially to help alleviate other normal trans people having to answer these questions in their daily life. I personally don't know if I'm gonna get bottom surgery. I think I would if the technology was better. For trans women, it's remarkable what they can do surgically. I did recently learn, I went to an all-male trans camp where one of the things that they have as a resource is called Cock Talk, where guys who have had bottom surgery just talk about it. Some guys don't get balls, but have a penis, and some guys want both. It's very funny when you think about it that way, of what makes people feel in their bodies. So for me, at this point, I wouldn't get the surgery just because it seems too difficult.
You transitioned.
I did.
What sucks about transitioning?
What sucks about transitioning is literally this right here. This pimple that I have is ginormous. It's just everything that sucks about puberty. I found shoulder hairs the other day. I didn't want that.
You have the individual ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they there?
I don't know.
Butt hair?
Yeah.
All you want is a beard. All you get is butt hair.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, you gotta be a man or not.
You took testosterone to transition.
Yeah.
Why can't you just dress like a guy?
The best way I can put it is, I don't want to be a butch woman. I want to be a frilly man. As soon as my body started feeling like a man's body, I actually started embracing my femininity a lot more. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna start wearing jewelry again, or should I start painting my nails? So I actually can express my female side more now that I'm a man, if that makes sense.
Okay, you used to have boobs.
Yes.
Now you don't.
Yep.
What was that like?
Awesome. I did something that's kind of rare. I wasn't on hormone therapy before I did that. I just got my boobs chopped off. And it's because, honestly, the second I had breasts is when my real dysphoria began. And so for me, from the second I had boobs, I wanted them gone. So not having boobs is f***ing awesome.
Everybody uses pronouns now.
Yeah.
Why should I use pronouns if I'm not trans?
Well, because everyone has pronouns, like a plant has pronouns. Pronouns are just replacing a noun so people don't have to use your name all of the time. But the reason that cis people should put their pronouns in their bio is so that trans people don't have to be the only ones. And this is particularly important for non-binary people who use they, them pronouns. So it's really just a way to like alleviate that awkward social stuff for other people. Like using your pronouns as a cis person, point blank, is like one of the easiest ways you can be an ally to queer people, period.
Yeah.
And also it's just like take the guesswork out of it.
We're gonna move into dating. What's dating like as a trans person?
Dating as a trans person is scary because of safety. I felt like I would have to awkwardly figure out when to disclose, how to disclose, and some people were like, cool, and then you could tell some people were like, cool, but it wasn't cool.
Yeah, when the times that you disclosed that and they weren't so hot on it,
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
They would start treating me more female or like less sexually. I would feel like kind of put to the side. But again, you know, I don't know, because at any point in dating, you might sour on someone for some reason or another. So I can't be positive that it was because of that.
You also could have told them you like Pokemon cards.
Exactly.
And then they could have been like, no.
There's a lot of other reasons to not like me besides being trans. I'm a loser in many ways.
Is sex weird?
Is sex weird as a trans person or just in general?
Is sex weird now?
No, sex is less weird now. Sex before literally was like, you know, it's intimacy of your body, and I just hated my body. My breasts were so prominent and in my way, whereas now, sex finally felt good and normal and not dysphoric.
Cool. Hell yeah. Are you straight now?
No is the answer, because I refuse to be.
But are you only attracted to one gender presentation now?
No, the real truth is, I would say before I was 90% attracted to women and like maybe 10% attracted to men. Since taking testosterone, I am so much more attracted to men in a way that I have never been in my whole life, and thank God, because I would hate to be straight. No offense to anyone who's straight.
I get that. You had, I think, an easy way to do this, but how do other people do this? How do you pick your new name?
You know what I've actually thought, and this isn't the same, so dead naming is a thing that a lot of people don't understand or don't realize why it's so harmful. If someone has chosen their own given name, don't call them by their old name, or don't ask them what their name was before. Again, like amongst friends, or if you know, you can talk about it. For me, it doesn't really bother me if people call me Ashley. My whole family calls me Ashlita. My sibling is on a campaign to make everyone call me Ashlito, which I don't want, but my sibling thinks is very funny.
What, if anything, do you miss about being a girl?
What I miss about being a girl is sisterhood and the way that women take care of each other. I can't ever imagine making friends with a stranger in the bathroom.
Yeah, we do not.
You don't talk at all.
No. I just do what I did as a child, and I pick a point on the wall and I stare at it.
Okay, here's a question I have for you.
Yeah.
If two men enter a bathroom together, do you ever talk to each other while you're peeing?
If you're friends,
Yeah.
yes. But what is more unlikely is two toilets.
Yeah.
You probably don't talk to each other while pooping.
With women, you don't know what someone's gonna do in there. I don't know, maybe you do a quick poo, no one will ever know.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, so does everyone just think I poop all the time?
They do.
But I'm not pooping in there.
You don't poop?
Once you're trans, you don't poop. That's the one benefit.
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
I have a lot more questions now.
Yeah.
Are there moments where you still feel like a woman?
Yes, when I'm chatting with people, like Uber drivers, I still chat like I'm a woman, and sometimes they either think I'm flirting with them, or if it's another dude, they're like, why are you being so friendly? Like,
Yeah, I think from my perspective, you're still thoughtful like a woman.
Yeah.
Like you brought me a birthday present.
Yes.
Nobody brought me a birthday present.
Yes.
I was like, oh, a birthday present. Hell yeah, dude. I've never gotten a present from my guy friends.
But again, I think it's important to distinguish. I feel socially like a woman, but I never feel like, oh, I want to be a woman again.
Right. Is it easier to come out a second time?
No, it was harder. I was in a relationship, it affected that relationship. And it also felt superfluous of like, oh, are you serious? Like I have to do this again.
Did it make you feel like, I was wrong the first time?
It was more just like an added sense of socially having to do the whole song and dance again and explain to people. So for me, it was harder to come out the second time and way more annoying.
Was there a moment where you're like, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm a dude.
Actually, when my dad died is really when I felt the freedom to explore my gender, sadly because I was so tied to being daddy's girl. My dad accepted my sibling as being trans, and I think my dad would have accepted me too, but I wasn't ready to be perceived that way by my dad. So yes, I've been trans since forever, and I think I was just hiding that. But in another way, I didn't really know until after my dad died, which was when I was 31.
What are you jealous of from, I guess, other people's boyhood?
I mean, I'm really jealous that I didn't get a boyhood. My childhood, my adolescence, my adulthood feels like they were all tainted or robbed in this way that was like not who I would have been naturally. I always wanted to do karate, I wanted to do fencing, I wanted to do these physical things that I wasn't allowed to do. Like I hated summer for all of my adult life, and I realize now it's because I hated being in a bathing suit. And now that I'm a man, I love summer. And it's like, that is crazy.
When you transitioned, were you scared to commit to a new you?
Yeah, this is gonna sound funny, but partially because I was just like, am I gonna be ugly? Like, am I gonna be an ugly dude? I didn't know if I would like having short hair. I didn't understand what my face was gonna look like. And there were a lot of things that I was afraid of too, like you don't have to have bottom surgery, but if you take T, you have bottom growth, like your clitoris gets bigger. And there were some changes that I didn't know if I wanted those to happen.
I imagine a lot of people wonder if you also have this thought of like, what if I'm wrong for some reason?
Yeah, that was something I was really worried about. What if I'm wrong about this, and what if I go through all of this and put everyone through it, and I'm actually wrong and I am a girl? What is that gonna do for the trans community? What is that gonna do for my own sense of self? I have met people who are trans who have detransitioned, but I think we think of detransitioning as a right or wrong. A lot of times what people actually need the freedom to do is to explore and land somewhere along the way. I think a lot of people feel that they can't explore one side of themselves because of the gender they were assigned at their birth. You can explore and change your mind and your gender presentation. It can change day by day. It's not something that you have to know. There isn't really a right or a wrong. I would say to save yourself some pain, you don't have to tell the world all the time exactly where you're at, which I think we've gotten used to with social media. There was probably 6 months where I was experimenting with my gender transition where I didn't tell anyone except for people I was interacting with in real life.
You know, given our government or our just country right now, what's your top fear?
Dying. Honestly, my top fear is that like the fascism goes all the way and the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany will happen where we get rounded up in camps and taken away. My other fear is just that a lot of trans people are gonna die indirectly because of feeling like they shouldn't be here. Trans people are much more susceptible to suicidal thoughts, and it just makes me sad that there are people who might not come out because of this for a lot longer and be living in your own prison because things are so shitty out here right now.
What are your like small fears?
I'm afraid that someone will be mean to me or rude. Somebody's gonna see my top surgery scars in the men's locker room and chase me out of there.
Why do you think conservatives are so obsessed with trans people?
I think a lot of conservatives are obsessed with trans people because they're trans, or because they are
in some way locked away.
They are upset at the ways that gender has locked them up, and they wish that they could be free. I actually think it's as simple as that.
What gives you the courage to be doing this?
It's not really like I'm doing this stuff to be part of a movement. I'd rather play Pokemon at home, But the thing that allows me to do this is the support that I have from you guys, because this could not be made on traditional media right now, because traditional media is so beholden to advertisers, politics, the way that the world is going, but I don't think I'm particularly brave or anything like that.
What are some of the resources for trans youth, and how might, someone watching this find more actionable help?
Look to your personal friends, family, local groups. There's Discord groups. There's a Second Try Discord. I actually challenge you to find a straight person in the Second Try Discord. There's other things like the Trevor Project, Trevor Hotline. You can call and talk to other queer people. There's this camp called Camp Lost Boys. Rocco, who's on this season of New Guy Tries, has made this amazing summer camp for trans men. Something that I had to do as a queer person was try and surround myself with positive media so I could see myself positively. I just got a Victorian Pride and Prejudice style book about a trans guy, and I'm like, it's also important so that you can see yourself as the hero and not the problem, because if all you're seeing is this media about how you are the problem, it's gonna sink in.
All right, last question. We've made 2 seasons of the show. I legitimately am curious if any of these things have really given you what you're looking for.
I feel so healed by doing 2 seasons of this show. I actually don't know who I would be as a trans man if I hadn't joined Try Guys, done New Guy Tries. I feel comfortable in a barbershop now. I have a suit to wear to fancy events. The second season explicitly, the guys that I was talking to are men that I never would have approached. And I loved them. They were so sweet, and to see beyond what my assumptions are of what people think about trans people too, and that people have nuance within them, has also been healing for me. There's so much to see, and I'm just excited for people to see it.
Oh yes!
I'm back.
No! This is fun!
Is this a good time to tell you that I'm notoriously clumsy?
No.
Do you know why I brought you here today? Because you were one of the first people to affirm my gender. Did you know that?
Sometimes I feel wistful or sad that I missed out on a normative experience, but I've had this expansive experience of personhood.
Each of us has the capacity as human beings to express masculinity, to express femininity, and to do them together simultaneously.
Do you want to knight me?
Sarash.
Yes! Oh wow, this is the best day ever. Hey, we're going! We're going!
He was like, wee, wow, woo, woo.
Whoa! I can't bend and snap, which is usually how I judge an outfit.